WBC lightweight title, and Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz in a WBC super middleweight title eliminator. It will be shown live and exclusively on the Zone. Hello everyone, my name is Wade Clemens and I will be your host for today's press conference for a historic card that will emanate from the Louis Armstrong Stadium on July 12th. But today, we're at the Palladium in New York City for the press conference for that double main event. Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz and Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. And I'm probably the least important person on stage, so I'll introduce the important people now. To my right, representing the Ring magazine, it is the COO, Versace himself, Rick Reno. Also representing the Ring magazine, it's Ish Henson. To his left is the chairman, by the way, just got in. I saw you sneak in here, Ed. Just got in. The chairman of Matchroom Sport, Amer. All the way down the end, down there is Spencer Brown, who represents Gold Star Promotions. And today will represent Hamza Shiraz. We have a representative from Golden Boy Promotions, the president, Eric Gomez, and all the way down to the right we have a representative for Edgar Berlanga, Keith Congress. Today's press conference is a historic one. This card is an historic one. Before we get to our fighters in our double main event, I want to make sure I tell you guys about the undercard. It includes Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias for the WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World. Also on this card, we have David Morrell taking on Iman Kataev in a light heavyweight matchup. And the returning prospect from the Ring magazine, Mr. Rito Susumi, will also be on this card. But let's get to the real reason we're here. The fighters that are going to be entering the ring on July 12th. Double main event starting with our first fighter welcoming to the stage all the way from San Mateo Atenco, Mexico. He is 33-0 with 27 knockouts. It is William El Camarón Zepeda. William should be joining us shortly here. Here he is. It's a long walk from the locker room. Come on through, William. Give it up. Next, we have a three-division world champion, former Olympic silver medalist, now the sitting WBC lightweight champion of the world. He is 23-0 with 11 knockouts, hailing from the Brick City, Newark, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shakur Stevenson. Woo! And in our second main event, like I said, double main event here, folks, we have a super middleweight matchup for a WBC title eliminator. First, let me welcome to the stage from Ilford, Essex, UK, making his debut at 168 pounds. He is 21-0-1 with 17 knockouts. The hard-hitting Hamza Shiraz. And his opponent from right here in Brooklyn, New York. He is a hard-hitting super middleweight in his own right, with 23 wins, 1 loss, and 18 of those wins by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. Now that we have everyone accounted for here, I'd like to open up the floor by speaking to some of our panelists, starting with the COO of Ring Magazine, Rick Reno.
First, I want to thank everybody for attending this press conference, and it was our third event. You know, our first card at Tottenham, Eubank Ben, that was about legacy. Our Times Square card, that was about history. And to me personally, this card is all about action. These are action fights from top to bottom. We're starting with Edgar Berlanga and Hamza Shiraz at super middleweight. This fight could be bombs away from the very first round. There's already a lot of animosity there. You know, Edgar's taking some offense. Hamza's coming to his backyard, looking to springboard off of him into a big fight. Edgar's looking to end it early. I think Hamza's looking to end this fight by knockout. I really personally don't expect this fight to go to distance. It is going to be fireworks from the first round, in my opinion. And then we have Shakur Stevenson in our other main event, defending his WBC lightweight title against the mandatory challenger, William Zepeda. Shakur, without question, is one of the best pure boxers in the sport. And he's going up against Zepeda, who's an aggressive puncher, guy who knows how to cut off the ring. And unlike other aggressive guys, he's looking to hit anything. He's not a headhunter. He's looking to hit your shoulder, your body, your leg. He just wants to touch something. He thinks there's something that in Shakur that he can exploit. Shakur is confident that there are things in Zepeda that he can exploit. It makes for an interesting fight, and arguably might be the toughest test of Shakur's career. I know Shakur thinks otherwise, and that's what makes it so interesting from fight night. And even with the undercard, Mateus and Cuello, Morello and Katayev, these are action fights. You know, a lot of people in the month of July look for July 4th for the fireworks. But this year, July 12th is when the real fireworks are going to happen. Again, I thank everyone for coming, and I turn it back to Wade.
Appreciate that, Rick. Now I'd like to welcome Eric Gomez, President, Golden Boy Promotions. Eric, talk to me about this historic moment for your fighter, William Zepeda.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank His Excellency, Kirk Yalashi, for putting this together. You know, after the last fight, the last show we did it here in New York, we all need more punches, right? And these are the fighters to do it. You know, you have William Zepeda, his output is incredible. Edgar Berlanga, you know, one of the most exciting fighters in boxing today. And Shakur, obviously. I mean, Shakur is arguably the closest thing to Floyd Mayweather. It's not better. It's not better. And that's how good he is. So these fighters are great. Shiraz as well. You know, much respect to him. This is a can't miss. It's all action. These fighters are going to come to fight. They want to prove to the fans, to all of the world of boxing that, you know, they're here. They're all action. It's going to be a great show.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Kevin, I'd like to come to you next. Kevin Conn, or excuse me, Keith. I apologize. Looking over at Kevin in the background on the other side. It's okay. Keith, speak to me about this moment for your fighter, Edgar Berlanga, in his hometown, in his backyard, representing the city of New York under the bright lights on July 12th.
It's a huge fight for Edgar. Anytime Edgar fights in New York, it's a huge event. He's popular here. He always sells out. I think it's going to be bombs away, as Rick said earlier. I don't see this fight going past 5 or 6 rounds. Shiraz is a great fighter, but there's levels to this sport, and he's not on Edgar's level. So I think it's going to be a massacre July 12th. I see a violent knockout coming. It's going to be a great event. I want to thank Ring Magazine for putting this together, obviously His Excellency, and our fight's definitely going to be the fight of the night, and expect an explosive knockout, and this will be a springboard for bigger things for Edgar going forward later in the year.
Well said. Thank you, Keith. Spencer, I know you heard those words over there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I spoke to Keith Connolly earlier in the bar, and he, you know, just to reiterate what he said, that he, in Hamza was only going to go 6 rounds. Look, we're coming into the Lions Den. He's moved up to 168. He's you know, he's very, very big guy, Berlanga. And it's not going to be easy to beat, but we think with Hamza Shiraz, we will win this fight, and we will win it comfortably. Because, you know, everybody thinks after that last fight that we dodged the bullet. But, you know, he broke his hand, he couldn't make the weight, he makes the weight naturally now. He's a 6'4" big man at this weight. So we think that we can definitely win the fight. And we've got to come into the Lions Den to do it, because this is Berlanga's territory, and we're quite confident actually.
Thank you, Spencer. Last but not least, Mr. Eddie Hearn, talk to me about this event and just how historic the Ring magazine is making card after card. It's Ring 3. You've seen all, I guess, the previous 2. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, the first one, April 26th at Spurs, when you're in the UK, people are still talking about that event. They're still going to be talking about it in 10 years' time. And what you're seeing is the 3rd Ring magazine event in the space of just a few weeks, really. And I think this might be the most exciting top to bottom. I mean, I really feel like Morel against Katiev is an incredible fight. For those who don't know, Katiev, he just boxed on our Sydney show. Very exciting Chechen fighter, very dangerous. Coelho against Matthias, Dalton Smith gets the winner. Edgar Berlanga against Shiraz. Edgar's a fantastic puncher, and Hamza Shiraz is going to be very well suited at 168, especially with Andy Lee in the corner now. I think that's going to be a huge addition, one of the best trainers in the world. And then over to the main man, to my left, Shakur Stevenson. And I have to say, you know, the team, Josh Dubin, James Prince, done an incredible job, but people always ask me, coming over from the UK, what's the difference you notice about boxing in America? The man to my left, if he was from the UK, he would be what we call a national treasure. He would be a superstar. And he should be not just a superstar of boxing, but a superstar of American sport. He's 27 years of age. He's a 3-division world champion. And he's never broken sweat. Eric Gomez said it right about comparing him to Floyd Mayweather. I also put him with the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, Pernell Whitaker, all of the greats. This is how good this man is. But for greatness, you need a great opponent. And that is William Zepeda. And this is the fight where Shakur Stevenson will show everybody how great and special he is. I think you're talking about pound for pound, #1 greatness from this man. And the Ring magazine are doing such an incredible job with these cards. But I do have one complaint, just one. Versace, one complaint. I looked at your rankings in the Ring magazine in the lightweight division. Okay, #1, Gervonta Davis, great fighter, just drew with the super featherweight. Keyshawn Davis, another great fighter. Shakur's friend, hasn't got the resume to be at #2. This guy's at #3. This is the clearest #1 fighter in the division you could ever see. And I know that you've got special dispensation, not you Versace, but the committee. The 135-pound belt is vacant right now. This is a belt that should be contested between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda on July 12th. We'll leave it there. I hope you will consider it with His Excellency, who you guys know the sport inside out. You know how good this man is. And for everybody watching this stream right now, everybody watching around the world, and especially if you're American, understand what you've got here. Absolute greatness of the sport. He's just getting started. And this is a tremendous fight. Zepeda's a great fighter, but you will see why Shakur Stevenson is one of the greatest fighters this country has ever produced.
So Eddie, are you asking for sanction?
Sorry?
Are you asking for the title to be at stake in this
I
fight?
am. I'm asking for you to consider it in your noble position.
I will definitely consider it, talk it over with the committee.
Thank you.
The committee decides it, I don't decide it. You know, it's an independent
Yeah,
committee.
that's why I asked the committee. And that's the great thing about the Ring magazine.
Who's on that committee?
Well, it's not Eddie, I'll tell you that much.
If it was, he'd already have the belt.
He already had the belt.
Yeah, but this is you know, you guys have always been fair to consider it, and I think this is I think this is the best fight in the division. You know, this is 2 tremendous fighters that deserve to be the king of the division, because this is already the king of the division. So if Zepeda was to do something outrageous, I don't know, Shakur was to slip over and break his ankle or something like that, and he won, he should get the belt. But he's the king, and he should be crowned king at Flushing Meadows on July 12th. Thank you for your consideration.
It'll be under consideration.
Under consideration. Strong words there from Eddie Hearn, but now let's turn to the fighters themselves, and let's stick with Shakur and William Zepeda matchup. William, you're fighting for the WBC lightweight belt. I just want to know this opportunity for you, what it means on this card on July 12th.
¿Qué tal?
Estás peleando por el campeonato mundial de los días de esta oportunidad para ti.
¿Qué tal? Un gusto, para mí es un honor estar aquí presente, muy agradecido con todo mi equipo, con Golden Boy por esta oportunidad, con Shakur también.
por darnos esta oportunidad de tener una gran pelea. Estoy muy emocionado, muy contento. Esto es respuesta de todo el trabajo que he hecho a lo largo de 16 años. Créanme que voy a aprovechar esta oportunidad porque sé que es la oportunidad de mi vida. Y pronto, este 12 de julio, en Nueva York, van a conocer a William Canavante.
This is the fruit of 16 years of labor, of working hard every day and answered prayer. This is the opportunity of my life, and I think that July 12th, New York will know who William Cepeda is.
You heard those words from Eddie Hearn just a second ago that Shakur would have to break his ankle, slip on a banana peel to lose this fight. You feel like potentially a lot of the people, even in this crowd, are overlooking you.
Escuchaste las palabras de Eddie Hearn que dice que la única manera que tú le puedes ganar a Shakur es que se resbala y se quiebre un pie y que no pueda continuar. Y hay mucha gente que piensa lo mismo. ¿Qué es lo que opinas tú?
No, yo me estoy preparando para una gran pelea. Hemos escuchado decir que Shakur se va a parar a pelear. Vamos a ver si es cierto. Y lo importante es dar una gran exhibición. Yo estoy concentrado en el trabajo que tengo que hacer. Soy consciente de las habilidades de Shakur, pero creo que tengo un gran equipo y estoy haciendo un gran campamento para poder evadir todas las habilidades de Shakur.
I really don't care what Eddie says. You know, it's me and Shakur in there, and hopefully Shakur does what he says he's going to do, stand there and fight, and just give the fans a great fight, you know. And we're going to prove who's the best July 12th. You know, I know that this is my opportunity. So Shakur says he's going to stand and fight. Let's stand and fight.
So, okay, you guys have talked about it. He's going to stand and fight. But when you watch Shakur fight and the way you fight, obviously it's a boxer-puncher matchup. You're very aggressive. He is very defensively sound, and this counter-punching is there. How do you expect him to actually fight in this matchup?
Obviamente han hablado y te ha dicho que él se va a parar a pelear contigo, pero es una pelea donde tú eres el agresivo, él es el peleador boxeador. Si tú cómo ves la pelea, si sí se va a parar a pelear o qué es lo que ves en esta pelea tú.
No, ahorita en nuestro campamento estamos haciendo varios planes. Si no nos funciona el plan A, vamos a usar el plan B o el plan C. Somos muy conscientes y realistas de sí la calidad que tiene Shakur, pero yo también tengo calidad, soy un boxeador inteligente. Muchos peleadores a los que les he ganado me han caracterizado por ser nada más un tiragolpes, pero ya cuando me tienen al frente se dan cuenta que no es en realidad así, sino que también sé usar mi boxeo y sé que Shakur al momento de tenerme enfrente va a sentir también mi agresividad y que también me sé mover.
We know that Shakur is a great fighter. We know the opposition we have in front of us, you know, but we're training for that. We're training. We have a plan A, plan B. A lot of fighters that I fought always think that I'm just a guy that comes and throws punches until they're in the ring with me. You know, Shakur can say he's going to stand and fight with me, but he's going to have to go back to his plan and box at some time too. So we're preparing for everything.
Thank you, William. Score? A lot of words been said so far. The plea is stand and fight.
Yeah, I heard that a couple times, but it sounds like that's what they want me to do. So the thing is, I'm coming in there to put on a performance. I'm not focused on doing one thing. I'm not focused on standing there and fighting. I'm not focused on boxing. I'm coming in there to put on the best performance of my career. And July 12th, the Peter's going to remember my name.
With this matchup, I asked him the same question, so I'll ask you. How do you expect him to fight? He's very aggressive, he's a puncher. He's going to throw a lot of output, we all assume, but how do you expect this to go?
I mean, he can't do nothing different. He could sit here and act like, oh, I got a plan B, plan C, plan D, blah, blah, blah. He can't do nothing different. There's one thing that he's coming to do. He's coming there to throw as many punches as possible, overwhelm me, make me tired, and, try to bully me. And I'm not going to let that happen. So I don't believe that bullshit he's talking about.
Now, when you get in that ring, I think a lot of people expect a lot from you, especially in this matchup. Vegas Lines would also agree with me. How do you go out and perform? I even heard you talking about maybe putting it on him a little differently than you have in the last couple of fights. We saw the Josh Padley fight. We saw what you did there. Am I looking at a different Shakur Stevenson this time around?
Here's the thing, I want Jacob Panda, his coach, that translated for him. I want him to know that and tell him that too. I'm going to train my ASS off. I'm going to put.
You can say it.
I'm gonna train my ass off, and I'm gonna put in a lot of work. And Come July 12th, he will have the best version of Shakur Stevenson. He will see something different than he ever saw before.
When that fight does happen, the talks of overlooking, it feels like when I get on Twitter, you're
And that's
beefing
BS.
with every fighter that's out there. How do you zero in on this moment?
That's just.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Shakur. I have to interrupt you though because this is His Excellency calling me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta answer this. Hello, His Excellency, are you there? Hello?
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to have you all and have my partners, Matchroom, Mr. Eddie, Golden Boy, Mr. Gomez, Golden Star, Mr. Spencer, and the team of Berlanga. This card is very important for boxing. You can see this card for the ring number 3. It's no one can accept and protect the result of the card. This is important card and historical place for the first time in boxing ever in the tennis arena. This card have a brilliant fighters. The result of this card will affect our next card. The eye of Shakur is in tank. The eye of Zabida in big fights in Mexico. The eye of the result of Berlanga and Shiraz is in Canelo. This is big cards. This is important card. This will affect boxing. And now, in front of everyone, we are ready. We are ready to do big fights. We have a big cards in August. We have a big cards in October. I am talking with Matchroom, with Eddie Hearn to do Boots and to Malibu. We are discussing now for big fights for Garcia and Haney. And let's go back to this card. This card is very important to me. Shakur, Zubaydah, Shiraz, Berlanga. The result of this card will affect the future. This is important card and historical card for the boxing. Shakur, one of the greatest fighter bound now in the world. Shiraz is the ambassador, and Shakur, both of them is the ambassador of Riyadh season. Shiraz looking to have a big performance in America and watching the result of Crawford and Canelo. Berlanga want to put very big statement in the first card with us. Zubaydah have a lot of options. We have the Latinos night. We have a big fight preparing now in Mexico. This is important card. This is important card. And the last request for Mr. Firzachi, this build, we change it. We now want the new version, please. Try to have the new version from the factory in England. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you to my partner, Mr. Eddie Hearn, Spencer Brown, Golden Boy, and Berlanga team. Thank you so much.
There he is, folks. His Excellency. HE knows how to make an entrance. He does have my number as well, so that's pretty cool. Shakur, back to you. This moment for you is, you hear everybody talking about it, comparing you to the greats of all time. When you hear that, how does that make you feel?
It's cool, but I don't get too caught up in it. I'm not trying to get caught up into like a trap to where it's like I'm thinking so highly of myself that I'm not gonna put in the work for the fight. And also know that I'm not sleeping on Williams a bit. I understand that this is a fighter in front of me that been waiting on this opportunity his whole life. I knew Zepeda back when I was like 16, 15 years old, and he was focused then, and I understand right now this is his money too. So at the end of the day, I gotta go locked in, and I gotta step on him. And that's what I'm coming to do.
William, you heard that. He said he's going to step on you. What's your response?
Bueno, pues yo estoy muy concentrado en lo mío. Siempre me he caracterizado por ser un peleador que habla arriba del ring. Esta pelea no es de excepción. Sé que es la pelea de mi vida. la que va a despuntar mi carrera. Yo quiero pasar a la historia en el boxeo mexicano, en el boxeo mundial, y el tener esta pelea contra un gran peleador como Luis Shakur es la que me va a despuntar, y estoy seguro que va a ser una pelea que va a pasar a la historia como la de Madrid Taylor contra Chávez.
I've always been a fighter that's been known to be very disciplined, very focused. This is not the exception. This is the biggest fight of my life, the greatest opportunity I have. I want to be known as a Mexican legend, not only a Mexican legend, but a legend in the sport of boxing. I look at this fight like a movie, you know, almost like the Mildred Taylor versus Chavez, and I just want that type of fight. I just want to give the fans, what they want.
Not that way?
Hey, Panda, tell him to start speaking English, man. I know he know more English right now, man. You've been around.
Que hablas más inglés, cabrón, que tú sabes hablar inglés, dice.
Tell him to talk some English. I know he know English, man.
Last one for you, Shakur. You heard His Excellency on the phone there say, listen, a win here, and he wants to set up the tank fight. I know you're not overlooking Williams Peta, but that's got to be in your mind.
Nah, it can't be. It can't be. Right now, all that's in my mind is July 12th. Of course, I want the tank, but I've been saying it for years now. But truthfully, if I don't get past Zepeda, there is no tank fight. So Zepeda is first, and I'm coming to that stand-up business.
Absolutely. Now let's move to our last billing on the night. The second of our two main events. Under the bright lights, July 12th. Hamza, I'll start with you. You're making your debut at super middleweight. Before we get there, though, I want to know what you learned in the Adames fight that prepares you for this moment.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank the Almighty Allah. I'd like to thank my team for getting me here. I'd like to thank His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh for giving me the opportunity again. I learned a lot of things. But listen, it's all well and good talking about that. That's the past. That's the past. Listen, we're in New York now. We're here. Everything's about the future. Over here, listen, no dream is big enough. You know what I mean? No dream is big enough. So it's all about the future. It's all about July the 12th, and I'm ready.
When you look across the table there, there's already been some personal shots thrown between you and Edgar Berlanga. What's the message to him?
Because I'm coming for everything. I feel like this fight, I think for the first time in my career, I'm kind of being underestimated. And I get it because in boxing you're only as good as your last performance. But I'm telling you right now, July the 12th, when I get the win, the Hamza Shiraz fight train is going to be back on again. And listen, we're coming with everything.
You're going into Edgar's backyard. He's even called you soft.
Yeah.
So, like you said, there's a lot of things going in his favor here.
Yeah, listen, if I was soft, I wouldn't be going into a fight like this at 168 at a new weight. So I think that ends that there, and July the 12th we'll see what I'm all about.
Both camps have said this fight's probably not going past 6 rounds. Am I safe to say you're predicting a knockout here?
I've learned a lot from my last fight. So like we was talking about, and not just in the fight, in the ring, but outside of the ring as well. So if it goes 12 rounds, it goes 12 rounds, but it'll definitely be explosive for sure.
Edgar, like I said, there's been a lot said already. Let me just give you this opportunity to talk to your people here in New York before we get started.
First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for this opportunity. I want to thank the ring, His Excellency, my team, Keith Conley, Edgar Berlanga, Mark Right. You already know what time it is, man. I'm knocking this motherfucker out. You know,
just like that.
Listen, we in New York. This is my backyard. You know what I'm saying? His manager, that's his manager over there? That was talking to you? Yeah, that nigga's tripping. He bugging out. He's saying that Shiraz's gonna knock me out, and not even his own fighter believe that. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, man, we here. You know, he said we overlooking him. I don't overlook no fighter. You know what I'm saying? You see
listen, you're already talking about the Canelo fight, bro.
Shut up.
Already talking about
listen, you got listen. You gotta give the last fight, bro. You gotta give the last fight. You know that. You lost that shit. Even your trainer knew that you lost the fight, bro.
Listen, we're not talking about the
your trainer even knew you lost the fight, bro. Your trainer even knew you lost the fight. Now you picked up Andy Lee, which I knocked his fight out. We went to broke his face, broke everything in his fucking in his face, every bone in his face. He knocked out Andy Lee. I will fuck you up and Andy Lee the same night. You know? And look, Siraj.
He didn't knock him out, he dropped him 4 times.
4 times, yeah, we dropped him 4 times, that's worse. So, now what? Get the fuck out of here. You crazy. Look. We're gonna put you in a fucking pack, yo. We're gonna sell the Andy Lee pack.
While Edgar gets him back, I'll apologize for the language. Sorry about that. Keep going. I gotta do my job.
Fuck that. Yo, this is New York, this is my shit. This is my shit. I was telling Siraj this is my shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool, he from Line, he coming over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm a superstar, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're in the Lions Den, you're over my man, so everybody in the Lions Den, man. I don't overlook no fighter, bro. I'm at that elite level already, so I don't overlook no fighter. I'm not going in there sleeping on this guy. You know what I'm saying? You see what happened to Munguia. You know what I'm saying? Munguia stepped on this guy, got knocked the fuck out. So we're not doing that. You feel me? We're going in there 100% focused, and we're looking to hurt him. You know what I'm saying? I want to break every bone in this nigga's face, and I want to do what I do best. Win.
I mean, it's just pure confidence coming out of you right now.
Show, put on a show. You know, this is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we warriors, we gladiators, but this shit is about entertainment. You know what it is. You know, every fight, man, like you gotta turn it up. You know what I'm saying? This is all eyes on us now.
That confidence, are you drawing that from what you've seen from Hamza Shiraz? Just you as a fighter? Where's it coming from?
I always been like that. Yeah. You seen in the Canelo fight, 12 rounds, toe to toe with him. Arms fucked up, still went out there, did what I did. I violated, I was talking shit to Canelo in his face, literally in his face. Telling him to suck a,
Apologize for the language again there.
No, serious. In front of Jesus. I was telling her in the ring, calling him a bitch. I'm like that. I know I'm like that. At the highest level, 20,000 people, I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? So, him coming in my backyard is a big problem.
Hamza, what do you make of all that talk? I mean, again, it's a lot of personal, a lot of your stuff.
And you know I'm like that. You know I'm like that.
In the UK, we call him a sausage, and that's exactly what it is.
Hey, yo!
Any response to being called a sausage?
And he's a dick eater. That's what he's called.
Shouldn't have.
He got everything handed to him in a silver spoon. Everything he got, he handed to him. You know what I'm saying? We taking that. I came from the dirt, bro. I came from the trenches.
No one's asking you.
In boxing.
It doesn't matter. Listen, July the 12th, you're going to be in that ring. It doesn't matter where we come from, bro. It doesn't matter where we come from.
You crazy? You got a silver spoon in your hand.
When you look at how...
You should go to acting, bro.
When you look at how Hamza fights, what are the holes that you do see that you're predicting a knockout?
He's basic, bro. He's a basic fighter. I've seen the best out there, bro. I've been boxing since I was 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still a sponge, but at the end of the day, I got over 20-some years boxing, you know what I'm saying? So what he's gonna bring, I already seen that shit. His hype don't mean nothing. All that shit don't mean nothing. Now he got Andy Lee in his corner, it's even worse. Because you see what I did to his last fight.
I don't know if you're gonna fight Hamza or Andy Lee at this point.
Yo, Andy, man, you fucked up again, bro. Yo, and I love my Irish people, yo. I love my Irish people, man, but Andy, you fucked up.
I'm going to ask both of you guys this. I'll start with you, Hamza. You heard His Excellency talk about a Canelo fight potentially looming. Obviously, Canelo's got work to do, and so
he's
you
selling
guys.
him a dream, bro.
But that challenge, it seems like you welcome all challenges. What would that mean to you?
Like I said, I ain't going to talk about that. I need to smash this guy's face in, and then we can talk about that then.
I'll smash some shit.
Edgar, you've been in there with Canelo. Obviously, the goal is to get back to the top of the division with a win here. It seems like you would secure that. Would you welcome another fight with Canelo?
Of course, we want that rematch. The reason why I started talking about a rematch was really because the Mexicans is asking for it, bro. Like, I'm in Tampa. There's a whole bunch of Mexicans in Plant City. They're asking for the rematch. His own people's asking for the rematch. So, if the people's asking for it, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it. I think it was a big fight. I know that, New York was shut down completely. There was block parties. Every bar in New York was shut down. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Rico was shut down. So that's a good sign of a great fight. You know what I'm saying? I gave him 12 rounds, hard. We went in there and with the least amount of experience. You know what I'm saying? I went in there. All the fighters he fought had way more experience than me. Billy Joe Sanders, Floyd Mayweather, all these guys. You know what I'm saying? And I went in there with no experience. but I know I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? I know what I got. I got that charisma. I got that stalling power. I look good, and I fight good.
Obviously, with people coming out. What I want to do now is get some final predictions from all of our fighters on stage before we face you guys off. We'll start with you, William. Massive moment for you. WBC Lightweight
You already
Championship.
predicted a 10th round knockout.
You heard it there, 10th round knockout. WBC Lightweight Championship on the line. How do you go in on July 12th and get it done?
Tu predicción en esta pelea es la pelea de campeonato mundial del Consejo Mundial de Boxeo. ¿Cómo entras tú a ganarle a Shakur Stevenson esa noche?
No, tengo que usar todas mis herramientas. Lo sigo diciendo, lo sabe mi equipo, sé yo. Yo tengo muy en mente que tiene muchas cualidades Shakur, pero yo tengo que explotar mis herramientas, no al 100, sino al millón. Tengo herramientas importantes que son las que me van a sacar adelante. No puedo dejar en duda esta victoria. No puedo decir a un round y no quiero dejarle la lección a los jueces. Yo sé que vengo a Nueva York a triunfar.
I know that I have to prepare 1,000,000% for this fight. This is my biggest fight of my career, the biggest fight of my life. You know, like I told my team, I can't leave this in the judges' hands. I got to come out here and give everything that I have that's within my heart and try to stop this fight.
Shakur, before I ask for your prediction, I want to know, is the hand okay? We're good?
The hand good.
Hand's good? Okay, so prediction time.
Prediction, I'm gonna go out there and do what I do best, win, but in spectacular fashion. So I ain't gonna give you a prediction on the Southeast. I'll come out there and whoop his ass.
Point blank. Hamza, I'll ask the same question to you. But we're going to start with the hand. Hands are okay? Everything's good, healed up?
Yeah, everything's
I hope so.
Everything's all on point. And in terms of my prediction for the fight, I go out there for a few jabs, land the right hand straight in the chin and knock him the fuck out.
Like that energy, Edgar, huh?
You smoking?
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know what the reference is. Your prediction for this fight, main event, your backyard, this moment.
He gonna be the 18th first round knockout. First round. If he come to fight on him like a bitch, because he got Andy Lee training him, so I already know what type of time Andy Lee's on. He gonna be on that boxing shit. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be running around the ring like a ballerina. If he comes to fight the first round, I'm knocking him out. Bad like super bad. I'm knocking him out.
Do you think he stands in the middle with you and fights, as you say, in the first round, or do you think he boxes with you?
I don't know. Let's see. I talked a lot of shit. So.
Bro, how you talking about boxing when you ran 12 rounds from Canelo?
Shut the fuck up. Bro, you gotta give your last fight. You knew you had to give, bro. Your trainer, that's why you fire your trainer. That's why you fire your trainer. You know why you fire your trainer? Because as soon as you lost, your trainer said. I mean, as soon as you won, or the draw, the trainer said. He already knew you got your ass whipped, bro. You was in Saudi, you got your ass whipped in your hometown. That's embarrassing, bro. You think you're gonna come to my shit over here? This is my shit. You think you're gonna come over here and fuck with me? You crazy? You're gonna have to kill me, bro. You're literally like, you're gonna have to kill me. You and Andy, you're gonna have to jump in the ring.
I think we'll leave it there. I think the best words have been said so far. So thank you all for coming out to our press conference. Remember, guys, July 12th, historic card from Louis Armstrong Stadium. Yeah, go ahead, give it up. Give it up one time.
Shout out Squad, Fat Joe. You know what I'm saying? He in the building. Shout out to Pistol Pete. Shout out to my team. You know what I'm saying? Family.
Shout out to everybody. Yeah. Once again, folks, do not miss out on this card. We have a stacked double main event, of course, but our undercard is also stacked. Thank you to His Excellency, to the Ring Magazine. We're going to get these guys faced off really quick. Get them right here. Get your cameras ready. But that is our press conference. I'm Wade Clemens. We'll see you guys next time.
Easy money. When Canelo sort of learned English to make him a more marketable fighter, is that something along the lines that you're trying to do to be more marketable?
I never thought about it. We'll see. As I keep going on my journey, I like learning new things anyway. So, if I feel like just sitting there and taking the time reading the books and trying to learn Spanish, I would.
All right. Have you and Keyshawn actually talked about those rankings since they came out?
No, I ain't talking like, bro. I can't blame. Here's the thing, like all of this stuff going on behind closed doors with these high-powered peoples, and they making these high-powered decisions. I can't blame the fighters for that. So, what is there even to talk about? What I'm gonna say? Oh, Key. Oh, I'm supposed like what? There's nothing to talk about. That's my brother at the end of the day. I'm proud of him. I'm happy to where he's at, cause I done seen where he came from. So, truthfully, I'm not caught up in that shit. That shit is what it is. But y'all know, like I know what it is.
You mentioned not wanting to overlook Zepeda, but Turkey called and saying you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
We got the rematch announced today with him and Lamar Roach. I think.
Oh, they announced it today?
So what do you think? Considering you were one of the handful of people to pick Lamar Roach, giving him a tough fight.
I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamar. I think Lamar is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
You really mean it that you want to move up to 154 and fight Conor
I
Ben?
asked two questions at the same time. I ain't hear shit y'all just asked.
You really want to move up to 154 after this fight and fight Conor Ben?
Yo, I kind of said 154. I probably was stretching it. I'll be real. I'm stretching 154, but I'll fight him at 147. 147, me and Conor could get it in.
Shakur, Johnny Boy Boxing at fight height. If you beat Zepeda, do you feel that that's the toughest test of your career? And they'll give you the credit if you win?
Who knows? It's a never-ending process, I think I stopped looking for credit because at the end of the day, once you get the credit, something else happen, they gonna move on anyway. So the credit really doesn't matter. It just matter how I feel, what I feel after the fight. After I go fight with him, if I perform at the highest level of my expectations, I'm cool with that.
Shakur, you saw Eddie obviously, have you back on stage. He said, look, you guys maybe don't appreciate Shakur as much as you should. This is an American great fighter. Talk to us about your relationship with him. And the reason I ask is because rumors circulated recently that maybe you were going with DeBella, but Eddie, he seems to have your back. Can you talk about that?
Yo, I got a question though about that. Like, why am I the only person? Everything behind closed doors just gotta be leaked or talk about. I don't understand that shit. It's just every single thing is talked about with me. It's god damn, that shit ain't even gotta be that. But like I said, Eddie Hearn is here. I've been saying he was one of the best promoters in the sport. I think he proven himself well. So.
Eddie, Saquon Jones with the Boxing Voice. You spoke about Shakur should be a national treasure. But isn't that your job to make him a national treasure?
Yeah, but we've only just started working together. Give me a chance. This is the problem with a lot. Terence is the same, by the way. Okay. It's not just guys. I don't just say it about people. I said it about Shakur before we represented him.
Okay.
Those guys, Terence, all those guys, they should be American superstars because of the ability they've got. But the good news is he's 27. And the crazy thing is, imagine being a 3-division world champion and never breaking sweat. Look what he did against Valdez and people like that. It was I was watching it as a fan. I didn't know that one day we'd get to work together, but I'm watching it going, I can't believe how good this young man is.
And one more question. I interviewed you a couple times. I covered for the Boxing Voice going over to London. I see how you get swarmed here. But they don't, swarmed in London or England, but they don't swarm you in America. What do you have to do different?
Good. It's nice to be able to breathe. It's good because I'm going to go running with him tomorrow at Central Park. He's the one that should be getting mobbed, not me. I'm just a fat promoter from Essex. This is the superstar. This is something that all young fighters dream of, having talent like this. You're looking at pure greatness with this young man.
Cool. Anybody else at 147 you looking at?
TV official.
At 147?
Yeah, if you were to go.
I'm not really I'm just.
Oh, okay.
No, it's crazy. The only reason why Conor Ben came to my mind, I'm gonna be real with you. I seen him in the mall, and I'm the type of person I size people up. So I sized them up, and I'm like, yo, I could fight him. I wouldn't mind fighting him. So
the mad thing was, is Conor Ben texted me yesterday, with the clip of saying about 154. Literally, within 2 minutes, Shakur texts me as well, saying, make the fight at 147. And I've got 2 phones, I've got Conor Ben going, Shakur Stevenson going.
Amazing.
Listen, that's another... he should be looking to fight all over the world. He's boxed in Saudi now. He should do a big stadium show in the UK. Him against Conor Benn would be a massive fight. But he's right what he said up there. Our job is to look beyond. His job is just to focus on July 12th. But he can fight everybody. Tank, Conor Benn. I mean, like the list is endless. But he's got to go and do the business against Zepeda.
Eddie, you specifically mentioned his victory over Oscar. Do you think that's his best performance in the run?
Do you know what? I just think that you're going to see the best Shakur Stevenson against the best opposition. People with outstanding talent and ring IQ always perform better against better opposition. And that's what Zepeda's going to bring. He's a good fighter. It's not an easy fight. And that's where you'll see the best of him. But I remember watching the Valdez fight because at the time, I was thinking, I think he might get beat. And I just watched it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like, no, respect to Oscar, it was like a mismatch. And I was just thinking, I don't think anyone can beat him. And I still feel that way now. I don't think anybody can beat him, Tank included, anybody at 135. And, you know, that's why. And also, I've never met anyone with a work ethic like Shakur Stevenson. I mean, he is, we could say in the UK, a boxing pervert. Right, he lives in the gym. I can't.
Is he a pervert?
You know, pervert. Boxing pervert. No, make sure you had boxing at the front.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, but
Say no, Diddy.
Seriously, I did. Yeah. Pause or whatever you say. Right? But what I'm saying is, honestly, you never have to worry about him. He works so hard, and he's 100% focused. He's boxing. He's boxing crazy, and he knows that. He knows this is a real fight, and that's why he'll go into camp and he'll just give it that little bit more.
How do you see the Bud Canelo fight playing out?
You said what?
Bud and Canelo, how you see it playing out?
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
Yeah. You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Cool. I'm gonna decision to stop this. Redman and Boozy think the blood actually might stop.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone and talked about it. But I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that blood can crack too. So.
Shakur, do you consider fighting Roach after the Tank fight? Is that fight would be of interest? I think
yes, me and Lamont. Actually, it's crazy. They be talking all that brother shit. Oh, he brothers and he won't fight. Me and Lamont is actually really close and really cool. But I would fight Lamont. It ain't got nothing to do. It's a difference. Fight, right? It's a difference between like how my relationship is with him and what it is with Keyshawn. I would let that fight.
Shakur, what did you think of Devin's fight? You were there. Did he look the same? How do you rate his performance?
I think, you know what, I ain't gonna shit on Dev because y'all, that's what everybody want me to do. Y'all want me to give him something and shit on him, but I think that he just need to get a little bit more confident. He get his confidence back to 100% after what happened to him. You could tell he's gonna be in a good position.
And we'll do two more. How important is this for you and your family?
I think it's everything. This is the biggest moment of my life right now. I'm coming in there to perform at the highest level and show why I'm the best fighter in the sport of boxing.
Okay. Eddie, one more question.
Right,
Saquon Jones with the boxing voice.
Appreciate you.
When they said now that you might, Tank is in the picture for fight with Shakur if he wins. This is going to be, that would be the third time you work with PBC. And we've had an interview where you said that PBC, and I quote, is fucked when they were moving over to Prime Video. So are they still fucked, or?
I think they're a lot more fucked than they were.
Even though it should be potentially the third biggest fight.
I can't remember. You must have got me on a bad day.
Yeah.
But I think,
it was right over there with Devin Haney and
I think that obviously when they left Fox, they left Showtime left. They're in a very difficult position. When you don't have a broadcast deal, it's not easy.
Okay.
right? And Top Rank are in a similar position, right? I'm
Yeah,
a bit more friendly these days, so
Okay.
I won't say fucked.
Okay.
I'll say difficult position.
All right.
Right,
So are they
AKA
still in that
fucked.
position, even though this is going to be the third fight that you potentially work with them, even with which they
No, I think that in boxing, I think there's a lot of bridges that are being mended.
Okay.
And I feel like for a long time, myself and PBC and myself and Golden Boy and Oscar
Okay.
were like this. And listen, it's an emotional game, you know. I mean, Edgar Berlanga's down there, you know. I feel like I've done a great job for him.
Okay.
Right? But also, when you look at it, I think that I'm doing more and more business with PBC. And my relationship with Louis de Cubas is really helping that. So much so that Callum Smith against Benavidez is a fight that we're openly negotiating
Correct, yeah,
now.
yeah.
Coelho, if he wins on this card, fight Dalton Smith. Magasau against Hernandez. So many different fights. So, look, and again with Golden Boy as well. So, you know, I think times have changed, and I'm enjoying having better relationships with people. Maybe it's my age, just calming down a little bit, or maturing. I don't know. Yeah.
So Eddie, how did you wind up in Queens? You know, for the Queens Chronicles, home of the World's Fair, by the way.
Yeah,
60th
I
anniversary.
think it's a great idea. I mean, I've been looking at Wimbledon for a long time back in the UK.
This
do
is
it.
second tier
but this is.
compared to
I
the,
think. Look, His Excellency wants to do groundbreaking events at groundbreaking places, and Times Square was one of those. But the problem is with Times Square, you can't get the people.
No.
And I said going into that fight for Ryan Garcia and those guys, it is difficult. It's not easy just to go and perform. You can hear Mike Tyson shouting out. You can hear Shakur, Richardson, Hitchens. And I feel like a lot of those performances that weren't very good, you still got, you know what to expect, but it definitely has an effect.
But this is a smaller stadium. You could have gone to Arthur Ashe.
That's all right. You know, step by step.
Fair enough.
Ryan talked about that. He talked about how the atmosphere kind of made him feel
Yeah.
like it wasn't a normal fight. Do you agree with that, or you see that? As
I
kind
said
of an
before, like, you know, we saw behind closed doors that kind of atmosphere definitely has an effect on performance. But you know it's good. You know what to expect, and I just feel like, you know, I was actually quite not disappointed. I was quite upset that Ryan didn't perform, because I was really pleased for him that he turned his life around. Like, you know, to see him on that Devin Haney fight week, the difference between that and seeing him here on fight week, he looked great. Like, his face looked fresh again, great looking kid. And I was thinking, wow, he's back, and I didn't think we'd see him again. But then I just saw him, and I said in the talking about the event, I said, sometimes in that environment, the fight can pass you by. So what happens is you get 6 rounds in, you're behind. 8 rounds in, you're still behind. 10 rounds in, fuck, you've got 2 rounds to go. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair to Derek James, he was saying all the right things. It wasn't as if he wasn't saying, Ryan, fucking put, but he just couldn't do it. Was it the confidence? Was it, I don't know, like, was it the environment? Was it, you know, him and Rowley got a little bit of history, he got hurt in this, was it the second round? But it was a poor performance. That's the bottom line, and he's much better than that.
Is the Haney-Garcia fight still something that can happen?
I mean, look, that's up to His Excellency. I don't think that fight is anywhere. I mean, if both those guys look great on May 2nd, it's huge. But they didn't. I think they both need another fight. I mean, Shakur was right about Devin. I think Devin, you know, he's there to be criticised right now. So sometimes people are going to be a little bit harder than they should be. He did pretty much win every round, and he did hurt Ramirez a couple of times when he held his feet. But he just moved too quickly earlier. But he's also coming off a really rough night with a lot of things happened to him, and he's been out of the ring for a year. Devin's a brilliant talent, and he's going to be. I worry more for Ryan over Devin. Going into the fight, I was worried more for Devin. But even though Devin didn't look sensational, he'll get momentum now to win, and I think he'll be better next time. Ryan's in a bit of a mess, really. He's got to come back, get a win. Maybe, I mean, he should be beat. I think he should be beating Rowley, in my opinion, and I expected him to do so. You know.
What's the logical next step for Jerome?
So we are talking. We're in negotiations for Jerome to fight Teofimo, and it's a hell of a fight. And Jerome, you know, you heard His Excellency. He said it there. You know, and this is just the last 48 hours. So Jerome's been chilling out. You know, there is a date in August that we could be looking at in Saudi Arabia, but we weren't really expecting to fight in August, if I'm honest. You know, we was expecting to fight in September, October. We have a mandatory challenger in Shakram Girsov, who stepped aside for the Stanionis fight. But I believe there's a conversation to be had there. And I've got a call with Jaron and Everett and the team and Bosey in about an hour to see if that's something we want to do. I will say there is still the conversation about 47-54. You know, it is inevitable, the move. But I feel like the Teofimo fight is a great fight, and I think that's a great option for him. So, listen, I honestly think that he's just too big and too good. Like, I rate Teofimo, but you know, when we did the weigh-in here, Teofimo stood on the scales about 6 hours, 8 hours into hydrating. He was about 146 pounds. Barboza was about 157. Right? I don't think he's a big 140, Teo. Wait till you see Boots on the night in there, hydrated, fit, healthy, and he's a hell of a fighter. Listen, it's a great fight for boxing, but I don't see anybody beating Boots Ennis. 147, 154, 160 right now.
Eddie, Johnny Boy.
It's a great fight, you know, and I'm Team Shiraz now because you know Edgar's had a lot to say. A lot of it is it's not like we get on all right, but like you know I think that I really like Hamza Shiraz. I think it's a brilliant fight. I think that Edgar will get a lot of confidence from Canelo. What Hamza said about the Canelo fight, Berlanga done great in the Canelo fight, but I don't think he really pushed himself in the fight as much as he could have done and probably might do now with that confidence. He hits very hard, but Hamza's been really starved at 160. You see the size of him, he's huge. I think it's a fantastic matchup. I think Hamza needs to be very careful in the first 5 or 6 rounds of that fight.
Do you feel like maybe it should have been another fight before Berlanga?
Maybe, but you know, maybe, but you know, also, isn't it great? Like we're like boxing fans, and I'm one of them, by the way, and so are you. We're mad, really, aren't we? We're like, oh, what's he doing? He's stupid. He should have a warm-up fight, and then we make a warm-up fight, and everyone goes, who's he fighting? That's shit. You know what I mean? So I think I admire it. I mean, look, if he goes and beats Berlanga, he probably will get the Canelo fight at Hamza Shiraz. So he's rolling the dice. Good luck to him.
Eddie, Devin Garcia with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask you about that, what you just mentioned, you know, Edgar having a lot to say. He was shooting the gun at you, you know, from the side of the stage there. I walked over and I asked him about that. It was F. Eddie. Where do you think this comes from? You guys seem to be on good terms?
I think we're pretty much on good terms. I mean, I think he's a little bit rude sometimes. I think he should have a picture of me in his lounge. And every time he walks past his lounge in his new house with all his ice, you know, everywhere, he should pick up, you know, the chains that he wears. That's probably, I don't know, what, 50 grand, 100 grand, 100. Every time he picks it up, he should go, thank you, Eddie, and put it around him. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, I gave him Jason Quigley, then I gave him Poddy McCrory, right? I paid him unbelievable money for both, and then we got him an absolute fortune to fight Canelo Alvarez. With Keith Connolly, everyone done a great job, right? We did a remarkable job for him. But, like all things, sometimes a fighter has an opinion of what they're worth, and obviously we have the receipts of the numbers. And it was just a little bit disjointed, you know. But I like Edgar. I think he's a really exciting fighter. I don't have any beef with him, and I wish him the best. But he should have the respect to say, "Fuck me, Eddie Hearn really done a great job for me."
You compared Shakur to Floyd earlier.
Yeah.
Can you expound on those thoughts?
Ring IQ, movement, controlling the fight with the lead hand, footwork, defence, calmness, everything. Like, and by the way, Crawford's the same kind of mould. And you know what it is, yeah? It's the self-belief. Like Crawford, I can't tell you how much belief Crawford has. I spent the weekend with him out there, you know, we was on the plane together. He has no doubt in his mind that he beats Canelo, and he does it easy, right? And Shakur has so much self-belief, zero doubt. And it's not like a complacency either. It's just like, I know exactly what they're going to do, and I know exactly what I'm going to do, and they can't beat me. And I think But you know, Shakur, people talk about, oh, Shakur's negative, Shakur's this. Not really. You wait till you see him in a fight like this, because you can't box just off the back foot against Bader and just let him walk you down. But like, and you know, look at Boots as well, same age. You know, I mean, sometimes Shakur's got a little bit of a baby face, and he looks younger than these guys. But let's just also acknowledge, Jaron Ennis is the same age. Like Crawford's what, 36, 35, 30, 37? You know? Like, and by the way, he's an outstanding fighter, but the problem is with Bud, and I said this to him on the flight, I said, you never got the chance to build an amazing resume because there was no one for you to fight. Like, and I was like winding him up. I said, tell me your best win. And he's like, Ricky Burns. That's what he said. Ricky Burns is my fighter, 3-division world champion. But I said, he was a great fighter, but he's not going to go down in history, Ricky Burns, as like an all-time great. You're telling me that was your best win? Well, Errol Spence, but even he acknowledges that Errol Spence, you know, was probably a little bit... And Bud could beat all the greats, but he never really got the chance, and that's why this fight's really important for him and to him. And after watching Canelo against Skull, and I know it was Skull, and I think he's the fresher guy in there. And I very rarely back against Canelo Alvarez, but it would not surprise me at all if Crawford won that fight.
Eddie, what are your thoughts on the change in dates and venues with the Canelo Crawford situation?
I think there's a lot, you know, you can always read into the reports from His Excellency. Sometimes there's reasons why he's done stuff. I actually haven't caught up with him since he announced that. I think originally they were going to go on a Friday because Saturday is there a big UFC event? Or I don't know.
They got a UFC event.
In Vegas, yeah.
And then football,
college
Sunday.
football, yeah. So, but for me, I think championship boxing should be on a Saturday night. Always.
Yeah.
Eddie, June 14th, you're back at the Garden.
Yes.
Great
Great
fight.
fight.
What can we expect on that card? What you lining up for?
So we're going to announce the card this week. There's a huge fight for Andy Cruz on the card, and he's going to be a big statement to put him into a position to fight for the world title. Tito Mercado on the card there as well, unbeaten 140-pounder. One of our big heavyweights as well, Alexis Barrier from Canada. Zaquin Moses, Nishant, loads and loads to Pablo as well, the King of New York. Tickets are going really well. It's a great fight. By the way, Hitchens is another guy. You know, I know he doesn't have the same profile as Boots and Shakur yet, but he's another brilliant, young, undefeated American fighter. And Kambosos is bringing a lot of energy to that fight, so June 14th will be a big night.
If Hitchens is victorious, that Teofimo unification still in
I think so, yeah. I mean, obviously we'll have to see if Boots fights Teofimo. But, you know, I think he's in a great position.
Is that really getting into some serious?
Yeah.
Boots and Teofimo?
Yeah.
Seriously in talks?
Yeah. I think if Boots stays at 147, I think he'll fight Teofimo next, but we'll have to see.
Eddie, Johnny Boy Boxing at Fight Hype. Talking about Tio, him using the N-word, what are your thoughts? Does he deserve to get a fight with Boots or with Hitchens? What do you think about that?
I don't know about deserving, but I think if you bring the game into disrepute, it needs to be dealt with. One of the problems you have in America is you have no national governing body. You're state governed, right? So in England, we have the British Boxing Board of Control. They control the whole sport in the UK. So you see Eubank slaps Conor Benn with an egg, £100,000 fine, right? If Teofimo would have said what he said in England, the British Boxing Board of Control would have called him within 7 days to a hearing, and he would have got fined a huge amount of money.
Do we need that in America?
Well, yeah, but you've got the ABC, but it's not really tight enough with the states. So it's just a different kind of, you know. But I believe the WBO have called him in or something. Look, we have to make sure people understand. One, racism is unacceptable, especially unacceptable in boxing. But it's a bit like, you know, on the Eubank stuff. We're trying to bring kids into the sport and show them that discipline, respect, manners, all this stuff. You look at Cops for Kids.
Yeah.
Cops and Kids, right, down in Brooklyn. I'm going down there in a minute to see Richardson.
Hitchens, yeah.
That place is unbelievable what they do. We can't, these guys are role models for those kids. They can't behave in a way to make those kids think it's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Drew Titan LLC. Speaking of Teofimo Lopez, your thoughts on his racist outbursts?
Yeah, we were just talking about it then. Yeah, I mean, like, unacceptable in all forms of life and walks of life. But I was just saying, in boxing, these guys are role models for people. So we got to make an example, and I don't know why he keeps doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he did it once with Crawford, and it's like, I couldn't believe. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I don't represent him, but if I did, I would be saying to him, what the fuck are you doing? Stop. Like, listen, one, it's wrong. But two, you're talking about your brand, you're talking about your deals, your broadcasters. You can't, you know, that's just.
Do you think he's crazy?
No, yeah, no.
no.
So I thought he was crazy. But I just think, like, I got to spend some time around him. I like Teofimo now. I never liked him. He blamed me for the Cambosos defeat. He was like, "Oh, it's Eddie Hearn's fault." I'm like, "Fucking hell! I didn't even have either fighter. I just won the purse bid, right?"
Yeah.
But when I spent a bit of time around him, actually, he plays up. And I think what he's trying to do is he's just trying to be controversial, but he's doing it in a terrible way, in a way that is unacceptable. I don't necessarily think he's racist. I don't necessarily think he means what he says, but there's, you know, if you want to be a character,
He's just being a sausage.
Yeah, a sausage. Yeah, like.
Real
It's
quick.
just, yeah.
AJ Fury Wimbledon.
Look, Fury's just teasing us, isn't he? You know, he's got the wraps on every day, 12 rounds, and he looks in shape. So look, fingers crossed, and it's the fight everyone wants to see.
Eddie, last question
Yeah.
for you, really quick. We seen what you did for Shakur up there. You know, you obviously spoke very highly and well of him. What do you think when a guy like Jake Paul, who was asked yesterday about Shakur, says Edgar Berlanga should be headlining this fight because he's the bigger star? What do you got to do to get Shakur to be the bigger star?
I mean, look, Edgar's been doing, you know, Shakur's been doing gates 4 or 5 times Edgar Berlanga in Newark, right? And he's been rating on ESPN over 1 million consecutively on numerous occasions. So if you know, obviously Edgar has the benefit of the Canelo Alvarez fight, but they're both great fighters, both big stars. But for me, when you talk about quality between the two, Shakur's an all-time great. Edgar's very exciting, but he's never won a world championship. I mean, when you talk about this card, Shiraz has never won a world championship. Berlanga's never won a world championship. Shakur's a 3-division world champion.
Who's the biggest star on the card?
Shakur Stevenson.
There you go.
Because people like to say he's not a star, but everybody talks about him, and everybody knows who he is.
Thank you, Eddie.